Excuse me. So everyone, let's go over these and see how you did. If you are, sorry, my voice is struggling today. If you are not getting the same answer, then please ask a question if you did not see where you went wrong. So number one, when you see a set of parentheses, we said we're going to take this outside exponent and we're going to kind of distribute it in. We're going to make sure that every base gets raised to that exponent. So I rewrite it. I'm going to take 3 and raise it to the second power. I'm going to take a to the fourth and raise it to the second. And we said yesterday, if you have a power to a power, you multiply. So that would give me a to the 8. For the b, power to a power would be b to the 12. And for c would be c to the -2nd. Delightful. At that point, I just say, what else can I do? Well, I see a negative exponent, so I do need to take care of that. So I'm going to make a fraction and flip the negative. And I can also just, when you have a number base, you just want to simplify what that number is. So 3 squared is 9. And then we have a to the 8th, b to the 12th. I make my little fraction there. Sorry, that's kind of awkwardly got a little crooked. That's over c squared. And that, my friends, would be my final answer, yes.
When will we, ever use this?
I use it all the time. I use it every day.
I get that, other stuff you can use.
Yeah.
Certain things. I'm what?
Yeah, don't computers do all this stuff nowadays anyways? Equations and stuff?
Who even makes this?
I don't know.
Who even,
Don't-
started?
Okay, if you want to get you can just think of that about anything. Who made this marker? And did they really think that they were going to use it every day?
You use that marker.
No, who invented markers?
How would I even use this in real life?
I use it all the time.
In what?
Being a math teacher. But
No,
besides
besides being a math teacher.
Once we get to exponential functions, you'll see when we use it.
Jim, this.
Yeah, you have to know this to use it for other things. Are you going to go to the store and there's going to be one? No, but in order to do other things in science and in other stuff, you have to use this.
No.
Yeah, you do. I'll show you later. We have a whole thing about COVID, how it relates to exponents and exponential functions.
Well, yeah, you said that.
And how they do the study.
But people don't write out the equations. Don't computers do that?
Well,
There's not.
Dude,
You think
who do you think puts
is
the
there just
information
a
in
smart
computer?
guy who just sits there and writes equations all day?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think that is actually how it works.
Yeah, the computer just doesn't magically come up with it. It's someone needs to tell the computer what to do.
Yeah, well, they put in the data and then the computer formulates the answers,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
not for everything, no. Maybe some stuff, some of the data stuff, but you need to tell the computer what to do. Computer's actually pretty stupid unless you tell it the correct thing to do, same thing with the calculator. You put this thing, the calculator will give you the right answer, but if you put it in wrong, it's still wrong.
It's still
It's your fault, it's not the calculator's fault. So there we go. Don't hate on exponents. Exponents is one of those things you will see in every math class for the rest of your life. So you just get used to it. It's one of those things that just pops up every year. I'm doing exponents right now with my Algebra 2 class because they just always pop back up. Little stinkers. All right, number 2, multiplication problem. So once again, always check your parentheses. There's nothing outside of it, so we don't need to do any distributing. We're good there. So it's just plain old multiplication. We said if we just have regular numbers, you just multiply them. It's just a multiplication problem. So you get -10. We only use the rules for exponents. And for when our base is the same, we add them. Remember, this is a 9. Technically, that has a 1. So that would be x to the 10th. When I add for the y's, that would give me y to the 0. Ooh, exciting, because one of our properties is if we see a 0 power, it's actually just a 1, so we can kind of just cancel it out. Remember, you only flip negative exponents. This exponent is positive. Please do not flip this because there's a negative, only if the exponent's negative. So your final answer is -10 x to the 10th. I am waiting. I said wait.
How isn't there supposed to be no negatives?
There should be only positive exponents. Does this have an exponent? Well, technically it's an exponent to 1 here, right? I only care about if the exponent is negative. If it's just a regular negative number, that's perfectly fine. It's only the little exponents have an effect on that. So if you flipped it, just change it now so you don't look at the wrong stuff later. And number 3, so this one has kind of a few pieces, you gotta break it down. First piece, I see parentheses next to each other, which is multiplication, but each set has an exponent, so I have to deal with that first. So I'm gonna distribute this exponent in, and I'm gonna get 2 to the negative second, e to the negative second. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it like that, we'll just kind of keep going and see what happens. Here we have, same idea, 3 to the third, and then that would be what, e to the 6th, because I multiply those. This is where people get all sorts of confused, and I get it, it is kind of confusing. Well, one, we can combine these e's, so we'll do that in a second. But people can get confused, how do I combine this with this? You really don't, so I'm gonna show you what to do. So keep 2 to the negative second. I'll just keep 3 to the third, it doesn't really matter the order that they're in. I'm going to add those exponents to get e to the 4th. And remember what a negative exponent means, it means this gets flipped. So I'm left with 3 to the third, e to the 4th over 2 squared. And now I can simplify my number bases. 3 to the third is 27, and 2 squared is 4. So that's what your final answer for that one will look like. That one always, like I just threw it on there because I know it kind of just messes you up. Because you want to just say like, oh, let's combine these. Like they're just numbers, let's combine them. But the negative exponent kind of messes you up. You do have to flip it. And then once it's flipped, then you can figure out what your actual numbers are. So if nothing else, you write it down right now. You good little students, you. So I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Based on those, and just in general, what we've been working on the past few days, are there any questions right now about anything? Yes, sir.
So when you have like stuff in parentheses and there's an exponent like on the parentheses.
Yep.
Once you distribute it, do you get rid of the parentheses?
Yes. Yeah, you don't need the parentheses anymore. If you want to kind of keep it to just show multiplication for the next part, you can, but I usually just get rid of them. Yep. You don't really need them. Does anyone else have any questions?
I think someone wrote in the chat.
Oh my gosh, really?
I didn't hear that.
No one did.
Oh, I thought I heard the ding.
Oh, sometimes you do hear the ding. Or sometimes people raise their hand. Does anyone at home have a question? I swear, sometimes I just hear the ding and no one does anything, so you probably did. I don't know why it does that. Okay, isn't that just really delightful, guys? So what we're gonna do is, hopefully you've at least looked at your problem set or maybe tried a few, but you will see problems like that on there. And today we're gonna finish up 2 more properties. We're just chugging along here. And then once again, we'll have a little bit of practice time next week as well. It's just one of those, we have to like kind of get them all in before we can practice them all. So we will be doing that next week, kind of bringing everything together. But always feel free to ask questions, stay after. But if you are sitting there confused, you're gonna be confused for like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna be sad for you for 2 weeks, so. I'm just letting you know. All right, I'm gonna write the properties that we know so far. Always never know how much room I have. We have the 0 property. You have all these written, so you don't necessarily need to write them. We have the negative property. We have multiplication. We have power to a power. And last but not least, we call it product to a power. So you have a bunch of things and you have your exponent and you distribute it. Okay. So we're hopefully like starting to just kind of get used to those as we use them more. But today we're going to look at 2 other ones. So the first one, hey guys, when you multiply, you add the exponents. What do you think you do if you see division?
Subtract.
Okay, you just subtract them.
Right, that's the question.
Kind of crazy. Not really. So just make sure, so addition or order doesn't matter, right? 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, they're the same thing. Subtraction order does matter. Whenever you're subtracting, you always do the numerator minus the denominator. So please just don't like flip things. So we always start off with the basics and then we work our way up. So let's look at some of the more just kind of quick problems and then we'll see some kind of combined with other properties. So if I said something like, hey, what's x to the 9th divided by x to the 4th? Using that property, what would it be?
5.
Yeah, you just subtract. 9 minus 4 gives me x to the 5th. So that's kind of the most basic. Okay, we have the same, you need the same base, subtract the exponents. So we can have other things like a to the 5th, b to the 3rd, c to the 9th, over a to the 4th, b to the 7th, c. So this one really is the same thing as the first one, you just have more than one base, so you just have to kind of organize your brain here. For the a's, when I divide a to the 5th divided by a to the 4th, I will get a to the, not a to the k, that doesn't even make sense. Oh.
Okay.
Just A. Wait.
And then men,
So like, could you just write
Zero.
you could just write a, yeah.
How do you get 1?
Because what is 5 minus 4?
Oh.
I'm just subtracting them, yeah.
I was thinking division.
No, exactly, because sometimes we just get stuck in like, I see division, you divide it, like, hello. But with exponents, the rules are different. When you see division, you're going to subtract the exponent. And once again, if it's a to the 1st, you can just write a, right? We assume there's a 1 there, so feel free. For the b's, if I have b to the 3rd divided by b to the 7th, I would get b to the negative 4th, beautiful. And for the c's, just as a reminder, if you just see a c by its lonesome, there is a 1 there. You could subtract those and you will get c to the 8th. All these other beautiful properties are still always in play, so you gotta pay attention. And this says our answer should only have positive exponents, so we need to take care of that negativo there. And we'll get a, c to the 8th over b to the 4th. And that would be your final answer.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What is the 6th thing said?
This,
Yeah,
That's
but
what we
what's
just
the
did.
second part?
x, and then the exponent is n minus m. Okay,
You did tell
so we can use like different bases. I feel like the one thing that messes us up is when I throw just like regular numbers in front, so let's look at that. Let's do 4 e to the 5th f over 2 e squared f to the negative 7th. Okay. Took a lot of effort in my brain to make that. So, I know that when I see bases with exponents and division, I'm going to subtract the exponents. Hey, what do I do with just regular numbers?
Multiply. Subtract.
You divide them.
Add.
You just divide them,
Right.
right? Yeah, when it was multiply, we were just saying like you just multiply normal numbers. If you just see regular old numbers, just kind of like ignore this. This just says 4 divided by 2. Just do 4 divided by 2. They're just regular numbers. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Subtract for your e's. 5 minus 2 gives me e to the 3rd. Please be careful on this one. You know it, but it's one of those things like you know and you just kind of like are too lazy to think about. F to the 1st divided by f to the negative 7th. What would that be?
F negative 6.
No. F to the 8th. Why is it f to the 8th?
Just it.
Yeah.
Because 1 minus negative 7. I know, that's what I was doing. 1 minus negative 7, double negative is a positive. Keep, change, whatever you want to call it. But 1 plus 7 is 8. So I'm just trying to show you little things that pop up. Because once again, sometimes I'm rushing too, and if you just kind of don't pay attention to the sign, it gets low. Gets a little iffy. I'm trying to think of other ones. Oh, let me show you this one. What do we want to do? Let's do, E, F, G, G to the sixth, H to the third, H to the negative third. We'll just do that. So everyone, I'm going to start, it actually looks pretty similar to the one I just did, right? But let's look at the numbers in front first. Remember, kind of think, like, ignore this. This just says 3/6. If I said, hey, can you simplify 3/6? What would you say the answer was?
1/2.
Look at you guys reducing the fraction. Good job.
What? You're acting like we're stupid.
No, I actually really wasn't, because people always do 3 minus 6 and they get crazy. No, I actually was impressed.
Why?
It takes very little to impress me, guys. So just be happy that I was excited for you,
We
okay?
basically took this last year, we should definitely know that.
Did you do this?
Well, I simplified fraction.
Kind of.
I know, but did you do all these properties?
No.
Oh, well then.
I got 25 on the test.
Oh.
That's a regular class
I got
test. But we don't have to talk about it.
It's okay. It's gonna be all right. We're here now. We're all doing good. Now, here's where it gets a little funky. Because now you have a fraction and you just like, I feel like you just start to like put the other stuff and you're like, what do I do with this? Like, what if I have to like flip something? So we kind of just go into the next part. Our next part is, we see division. We're gonna subtract. 1 minus 6 is -5. You are going to line everything up with the numerator, okay? Everything is lined up with the top. And then if we do have to flip it, then we have the fraction bar there. So 1 minus 6 is g to the -5th. And for h, just be careful. 3 minus -5 gives me h to the +8. So once again, if you have this fraction here, I just kind of make a big old bar, put everything on the top, because then if something is negative, it's there for me to flip it. And I would get 1h to the 8th, or you could just write, you don't need to write the 1, but go for it. And then over 2g to the 5th. By the way, I just need to get to the point. Know how you guys were just complaining, like, when am I going to use this in the real world?
It
No,
doesn't
I
sound
don't
like
remember
that.
that.
It sounded very shrill like that, yeah. I have a question, Wendy, like, for every class you take every day, are you gonna use everything every day in your real life?
No.
No.
No. Okay. So can someone give me a reason why you have to learn all this stuff now if you're not gonna use it every day in your everyday life?
That's
Yeah, that's all.
For job opportunities.
Well, one, I mean, a lot of you probably have no clue what you wanna do when you actually grow up, right? So our job is to broaden your horizons, to show you everything, right? So then you have a
So
better
shouldn't we
idea.
be able to choose the classes we take?
Yeah, when you go to college, that's what you do. That's when you like choose them.
And electives.
Yeah, and you will
But
be
they
able to.
still
do
make
it.
you take math in college.
Yeah, but like
Well, I
you're
guess
saying that like
semesters
if you
will
like
know.
doing this, then you might want to.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I graduated high school and was like, I have no clue what I wanna be. Like, I did not know I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't even know I wanted to go into math. But I knew I like kinda liked math. Like, I hated English and history. Like, just torture me, like make me write an essay.
I don't understand
Pure
biology.
torture.
What did you rate?
Like, English history, wasn't a big fan.
English.
I'm more of like a math science. I like science too.
No. Science is
I don't
so
understand biology
confusing.
at all.
If that's how you even have to.
Science
But
could
anyways,
literally be the best.
It gave me an
class in
idea
the world.
after I left high school what I liked, so I knew in college, hey, I'll take that.
Science
calculus
sucks this year
class.
Because we can't do experiments.
I know, that does kind of stink. And then when I took calculus, and I was like, this is easy, and someone was like, calculus isn't easy. I was like, wait a second, maybe I'm good at calculus, and then I just kept going.
Wait, you can major in like teaching, right?
No, when you're
No, it's like.
When you teach high school, I majored in math with a minor in secondary education. If you're like an elementary school teacher, you can major in that, but when you're at like a higher level, you major in what you're gonna teach in. But anyways, we're just showing you, you know?
Did you know you wanted to be in high school?
Oh yeah, I would never be an elementary school teacher. My sister's like a kindergarten teacher, I'm like, I do not know how to do that.
No, dude, they're so annoying.
Oh,
Oh.
like they're cute, but they're so neat, they like touch you all the time, I'd be like, oh, no way, come near me. All right, try these two, just to see, are we like semi-okay with this property? Or is there anything else you think we need to go over? Because I'm happy to do so, once again, I base my life off of you. So you guys get the final say in what we do next, if we need more practice.
Pass the pig.
Okay. You're so funny. Oh my God, I'm laughing. Okay, sorry, I'm in the way for a second. I will move. I just write faster when I'm like pen on here. Let's do.
It's not.
Dude, what are they?
Alright, there's your two you're trying.
They're Adidas shoes.
No way. You like CrossFit.
Actually, try those, because if you don't get it, I'll spend more time on it, but if you do get it, we'll just do it that
Okay.
the other property is kind of quick, and it's kind of very similar to a hard to see, but I like to get your
At
input.
least you don't have NMDs, you know, stuck in 2018, bro. Dude, remember when NMDs were actually so popular? Ah. You just ask how we do this? You just ask.
Do it.
Well, just try it, because if you actually don't know how to do it, I'll help you, but you just never talk about it.
Luke doesn't always do. Oh, I never do. Don't do. Stop asking how to do this. I know this. See?
One more minute. Hey guys, is anyone doing anything fun this weekend?
No.
I've literally,
I have an outside.
I
baseball
ask
practice.
every class every week, and
You know
I've
what?
yet to find someone doing
I
it.
have an outside baseball practice.
Ooh. Oh, it's gonna be chilly this weekend. Oh, that's exciting, I guess. You gotta get some good cake out of it, hopefully.
Like in game.
Well, you know, try to find something fun. I'm not doing anything fun with it, but I need to live vicariously through you guys.
What's your bet? Another.
Chatties.
Dude, I have 31
Good
calories.
luck with that one.
What's your wood?
Outside practice.
It's I think we're just like.
Baseball's already starting, yeah.
Yeah, I've had practice for like 5 weeks indoors.
Oh, indoors.
I've had practice indoors since like September.
For what?
What?
Oh yeah,
For
not
what
really,
sport?
it's been way longer than that.
Well, next week's supposed to be nice, so hopefully that's a little nicer. But, yeah. I do not envy people and does everyone here play football? Or track? Is it football and track have this like weird season that they're doing it now?
Yeah, for my age, well, like my town, they only have 4 games for the football season.
Yeah, I was gonna say there can't be that many. And then the spring season goes into July, right? Like if you play baseball.
Yeah.
So I think the
Yeah,
high school
it's so
baseball
weird.
season might get pushed back because of football. I'm not sure.
It definitely is. It starts later and it's gonna go into like the summer.
It's gonna be so hard to make a baseball team as a freshman.
To make it or to make one?
To make it.
Like to have-
only JV and varsity.
Oh, they're not having freshmen this year.
It's just so stupid. It's like outside and like.
That's not true.
Oh, really? Someone just said that's not true.
I was talking to Mr. Blake.
Oh, we talked to Mr. Blake and he said there's not.
He's literally the freshman coach.
There's a red team, a blue team, and a white team.
Oh,
For
for baseball?
Might be the same as varsity. I mean, basketball might be the same.
Oh, he's saying for football. He's talking about football. He was talking about baseball, that's why. We're talking about two different sports. No, that's fine. He was talking about football. All right. Anyways, enjoy if you're outside and doing some sort of sport. But it should get nicer in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Dude, remember,
Okay, sorry, it just took me a second to fix my brain there. So the first one is just really knowing the general rule. When you divide, you subtract, be careful with your exponents. 3 minus -1 is 4, right? Because when you subtract a negative, you add. For the y's, 5 minus 7, remember it's always top minus bottom, numerator minus denominator, is y to the -2nd. And for the z, once again, if you want to just kind of cancel it off or say 2 minus 0 is just 2, either way. For our final answer, we will have to flip that negative, and you should have gotten x to the 4th, z squared over y squared. Are there any problems with number 11? Okay, number 2 is kind of the same idea, but we do have those numbers in front, so be careful. Remember, they're just regular numbers. If you need to do something like this just to even visualize them, go for it. But 5 over 15, we would reduce to be 1/3. And we said if we do have a fraction, we're going to kind of, as we're subtracting, we'll just line it up at the top. And then if we have to flip something, we already have the fraction bar there. So for the a's, remember 9 minus 1 is a to the 8th. B's, 7 minus 12 is b to the -5th. And then for the c's, 1 minus -4 is c to the 5th. I do see that negative, but the fraction bar is there, so I'm going to flip it. And I would get 1, a to the 8th, c to the 5th, over 3, so don't lose it, b to the 5th.
Wait, wouldn't it be +5
Where?
for the d?
Well, because 7 minus 12 is -5, because it's always top minus bottom.
no.
So just be careful, because if you did 12 minus 7, it would be positive. But always just make sure you do it that way. Are there any questions on number 2? All right, literally for this last problem, we're doing like one example, because it's actually something you already know how to do. But this is our last property of the day. And we're only going to do one example, and then we're going to be done. So, this property is very similar to this property right here with the parentheses. Basically, in a set of parentheses, if we have a fraction raised to an exponent, it's kind of the same idea. That whenever you have a set of parentheses with an exponent on the outside, you're just going to distribute that in. Whether they're connected with multiplication or division. If you have an outside exponent, in this case, you give it to the top and to the bottom. That's about as crazy as that one gets. So I always think this property and this property are very similar. They're the same concept. When you see a set of parentheses, if there is an exponent on the outside of that, you are going to give it to everything inside. So here's a quick example. Kind of combining the two. Awkward spacing. Ooh, let's make it a negative exponent. That always makes everything more fun. Okay, everyone. We have this set of parentheses, and we have an exponent on the outside. So basically, I'm kind of combining these two properties. All we're going to do is every single base in here, whether it's on the top, the bottom, wherever it is, it's gonna get raised to the negative second. So here's what we got. 2 to the negative second. I kind of just go through it right in order. X to the 4th to the negative second, I'm going to multiply those, right? So that will give me x to the negative 8th. And then that will give me y to the negative 6th. Over. So these also get raised. That's all the property said. 3 to the negative second, z to the negative 10th. What am I going to have to do to every single base? I'm going to have to
Divide,
Divide
Subtract.
-1 or
Multiply.
negative.
add.
Hey guys, is there anything to actually combine here?
No.
You can only combine things when they have the same base. We have an x, y, z, and these have different bases as well. You have a 2 and a 3. So I notice that they all have exponents that are
Negative.
negative. So everything is going to have to get flipped. So I'm going to do that. Flip, 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 flip. So this flips down. I get 2 squared.
Wait, so you can just like flip whatever you want.
Yeah, you flip away.
Wait, if you flip the bottom ones up, it makes them positive.
Yep, exactly. So it's just, if it's on one side of the fraction, you just flip it to the other. So if they're on the bottom, we flip them to the top. And then we do always make sure if we have number bases that we do simplify them. 3 squared is 9. 2 squared is 4. And there's nothing else we can do. That would be your final. Excuse me. So I fall into my seat here, okay. So as of right now, yesterday we were saying, oh, look, you're like, you know, you're having fun, you're working on that problem set. You could have done 1 through 12 and like maybe a few other ones on the back. Right now you should be able to try everything. We do have one more property, but it's kind of like its own little thing. We just do it separately. So these are the ones that we kind of combine together. So now, as you're looking at your problem set, you should be able to try anything and everything. There is some division on there. So you're just gonna do your best. My main piece of advice is just start with parentheses and go from there. How are things connected? If you see multiplication, division, you have an idea. If nothing else, you can try that. This is due Tuesday. But if you need help on Monday, just come in and ask for help. I'll be happy to help you.